This video is the second in a two-part series, so please go and watch the first video. This is a video with plenty of breathing exercises. The idea is to improve the function of your lungs and your respiratory system, and also to make sure that you're relaxing and inducing a state of parasympathetic, which is rest and digest state, that boosts your immune system and your immune function. So, first of all, I'd like you to make sure that you follow all the government's advice given the coronavirus situation. Make sure you're practicing very good hygiene, you're washing your hands on a regular basis, you're making sure that if you experience any symptoms, you do self-isolate, check the news regularly and follow any updates that may be there. So, the idea behind these exercises is to make sure that you're in better control of your respiratory system, seeing as this is primarily a respiratory disease. So, get yourself into a space where you are comfortable, and this is for learning purposes. These exercises can be done seated, standing, pretty much anywhere that you are, but they're best learned lying down. So, lie down on your back, facing the ceiling. Make sure that you're nice and comfortable. And these exercises are also designed for you to follow along with me as well, so I'm going to guide you through them. So I'd like you to start with finding your contact with the floor. Rest the pillow just under your head if you feel like it. If you don't, take it away, doesn't matter. This is about breathing. So just pay attention to where you feel your breath as you're breathing in. Are you breathing in through your mouth? Are you breathing in through your nose? Just checking on your body. So, the next step, once you've checked in, made a note of what you're currently doing so that you understand where you are at the beginning of this exercise. What we're going to do next is we are going to start to breathe from your abdomen. So place one hand on your abdomen just below your belly button, one hand on your chest. Before we get into the exercise, just take a deep breath in. Try and get as much air into your lungs as possible. And try and notice which hand moved most and when. Were you breathing more into your chest? Was the top hand moving more? Or were you breathing more into your belly? Was the bottom hand moving more? Has it changed now you're paying attention to it? Okay, so the stress response primarily tenses your abdominal muscles and the muscles around your throat. Now, the reason for doing this is because those are the two most vulnerable parts of your body, and the stress response is aimed at protection and doing as well. It is the protective part that tenses these two groups of muscles. So if you want to undermine the stress response, what you need to do is you need to actively relax the two areas in which the stress response is tensing. So in order to do this, we're going to get you to breathe deeply into your abdomen. So the idea is filling a glass with air from the very pelvic, the bottom of your pelvis, all the way up to the throat and the mouth. So it looks like this. Starting in the belly, and like a wave, following that breath upwards into your chest, breathing in as much as you can here, until your neck muscles start to tense, elevating your top ribs and getting the most air into your body as possible. So, to start with, if you're finding this difficult, just pay attention to trying to move the hands on your belly with your in-breath. And we're going to repeat this 10 times. Each time, trying to get a little bit more wave-like movement from the bottom to the top of your lungs. Keep breathing, but just notice how the in-breath requires tension. And the out-breath is effortless. Doesn't require any energy to breathe out. See if you can induce a bit more relaxation on the out-breath. Close your eyes. I'm pretty sure that was 10. I think I've lost count. So if you remain count till 10. But once you've finished, I want you to make sure that you just check in on where you're at now. Pay attention to how you feel. Do you feel more relaxed? Do you feel heavier, lighter, tingly? What's going on? The next part of this exercise is going to be, we're going to be using that breathing technique with that throughout, but we're going to bring your spine into rotation. In order to do this, I'd like you to bring one leg up to 90 degrees at the hip and 90 degrees at the knee. And I'd like you to drop it over to the opposite side of your body, trying to get the rotation to happen throughout the spine. If you're feeling it a lot in the buttock or in the hip, I'd like you just to straighten out your leg a little more, play with the leg position, maybe push through the knee, or maybe hold onto the leg. Just try and wiggle into this stretch until you don't feel it in the buttock, but you feel it more in the rib cage, in the spine, and in your back. Once you have found that, I'd like you to bring your arm up, rest it underneath your head, and just allow this elbow to provide a counterweight to the leg, bringing your whole body into a rotational torsion. Now what you're going to do is place the hand that's the closest to the leg that you've rolled over. You're going to place that onto your rib cage here. When it's on your rib cage, you're going to try and breathe into your hand. So you're trying to assist the mobility of the rib cage on the left-hand side. You'll notice that you come out of the rotation a little bit if you're doing this correctly. Again, keep it comfortable, don't push through pain. If there's pain, it's because your body is asking you to adjust, change something, wiggle into it a little bit. So, when you're comfortable, breathe in again and repeat this 5 to 10 times. We're going to do it 7 times today. Each time, try to relax a little more on the out-breath and feel yourself move a little more on your in-breath. How are your legs? So you noticed I breathe in through my nose throughout. If you've got a blocked nose, feel free to breathe in through your mouth, but it's good to breathe in and out through your nose while doing this exercise. But it's not wrong to breathe out through your mouth or in through your mouth as long as you're getting the air in and out. I really don't care. Again, bringing your leg over, wiggling into the position so you feel the stretch going throughout your spine and into your rib cage, counterbalancing yourself with your arm and starting to breathe, opening up the rib cage. Relaxing on the out breath. 7 breaths. notice any digestive sounds going on? If you do, that means you're switching your nervous system from the sympathetic stress response to the parasympathetic rest and digest response. Your digestive system is beginning to turn on, and therefore your immune system is also starting to turn on. So, the next exercise, now you've learned the abdominal breathing and started to rotate, we're going to bring you into a little bit of hyperventilation. So we're going to take 10 deep breaths. The idea with this is to push the carbon dioxide and the oxygen, push the carbon dioxide out, bring the oxygen into your body. You're going to take 10 deep breaths. If you've ever seen Wim Hof breathing, this is similar to that. And go check out his videos, he's great. So 10 breaths from the belly to the chest, relaxing on the out breath. After you have finished the 10th breath, you're going to take a deep breath in, breathe out all of your air and try and completely relax your body. You are likely to experience tingling, you're likely to experience sort of lightheadedness, you're likely, maybe you'll see some colours. Now, if it gets too intense, stop. There is no reason to push beyond what you're comfortable doing. I've chosen 10 because we've already done some breathing. If you want to do more, feel free to do more. So, taking a deep breath in and follow your own pace with this. Big breath in, breathe out all your air, relax. Pay attention to when your body asks for the next breath. As soon as it asks, you breathe. When you do, take a deep breath in, hold it for 10 seconds, and then relax your body. Breathing in deep, hold it 10 seconds. If you want, you can push it to your head. Breathing out, relaxing. Checking in your body. How does it feel? Any digestive sounds going on? Do you feel alert? Do you feel relaxed? Trying to get to a place where you feel in touch with your body, relaxing yourself, letting your day just pass from you, feeling yourself supported by the ground, by the earth. Okay. Next, bring yourself to a seated position. Nice and slowly, take your time. So the next exercise we're going to do requires you to have a sort of split stance, trying to be 90-90 in your hips. If you can't get there, that's absolutely fine. And the idea with this is to stretch out the side of your body again. We're trying to open up the side of the rib cage. So if you feel like you need to support yourself still, that's absolutely fine. Feel free to bring your legs further out of this if you need to, and if you're not flexible enough, this is a nice comfortable position. If you want more stretch, bring your hips further back and extend more, reaching with your elbow up towards the sky, placing your hand either on your head or on your neck, whichever you feel most comfortable. You want to try and wiggle into this position so that you induce a stretch over your rib cage and your lats on the side that's away from your legs. When you're here, breathe. You can do this 5 breaths. Come back to normal seating. Bring yourself out of it. Tucking your legs to the other side. Resting yourself, neck or head, it's much tighter for me on this side, and breathing, trying to get your ribs to expand on the side that you're feeling a stretch. Keep the stretch like 3 or 4 out of 10. Don't push it to a 7, there's no point. Breathing. Relaxing on the out breath. And bring yourself back to the center. The next exercise is going to be to stretch out the neck in trying to reduce the tension in the respiratory muscles on the front of the neck. For this, you need to jam your tongue to the roof of your mouth, close your jaw, gently clench your teeth. Don't clench fully, but just maybe enough to close your teeth together. Bring your head upwards, looking towards the sky, feeling a stretch at the front of your neck here. When you're feeling that stretch, you're going to be breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. When you breathe in, you close the jaw again. That's going to reintroduce the stretch into the muscles at the front of your neck. And we're going to take 5 deep breaths here. Do the stretch, take it easy. When you breathe in, try and get all of the air into your lungs so you feel the muscles in the front of your neck stimulated, activating. Relax your chest on the out breath. If it's feeling like it's compressing the back of your neck, come out of the stretch a little bit. It shouldn't feel compressive at the joints at the back. Now, direct your head to one side. You should feel the stretch along the outside of the neck in here. Again, this is where breathing in to the maximum is very important. It will stimulate the muscles that you're stretching. Relax on the out breath. You can do 3 each side. Closing the jaw, tongue to the roof of the mouth, breathing in. Relax on the out breath. Come back to center. How are you feeling? Do you need a break? Take a break if you need a break. Next exercise, we're going to induce more rotation into the body. So while you're sitting cross-legged, bring one arm behind you, find a comfortable place for this hand to rest so that your shoulder isn't up by your ears, it's resting at a comfortable neutral. Bring the rest of yourself around, try not to slump into the position, but try to keep your spine relatively straight so your head and your shoulders are above your pelvis, which is sitting on the ground. Rotate around, try and relax in the shoulder blades as you do this. This is meant to be a spinal movement assisted by the shoulder blades, not simply a pulling of your arms around. If you feel some clicks, absolutely fine. Take some breaths. As you breathe out, try and relax your body into this movement. You may notice you go a little further. You can do this 5 times. Same the other side. Place your hand in a comfortable position. Relax your shoulders. Hold onto the knee on the opposite side. Make sure you're not slumping and you're nice and extended, sitting over your sit bones. And rotate, taking 5 breaths. Are you breathing into your abdomen still? Come back to center. Check in. How do you feel? Comfortable? Relaxed? The next exercise is going to be stretching out the front of your rib cage. So we've worked the side bending, we've worked the rotation, now we need to work the front. And this is very simple, Sphinx pose. Now the objective of this Sphinx pose is to try and induce a sense of stretch in your rib cage, in your chest. So what I want to see when people coming up is I do not want to see them simply arching into the lower back and their chest doing very little. What I want you to see is you rolling from this position with your elbows just at the point of your lower ribs, palms facing down. I want you to see you lifting vertebrae by vertebrae from the neck down into the mid-back and stopping if it pinches in the lower back. So do not want any pressure feelings down here because we're trying to open the ribs at the front, not just force into this position as much as we can. So it requires a lot of conscious attention to lift one vertebra at a time. You will notice your head has a lot of range. This is where it's good to keep that tongue tucked into the roof of your mouth and your jaw closed so you'll feel the stretch at the front of your neck. When you feel it starting to lift the chest off the floor, I want you to push gently down your elbows. So you start to bring your shoulder blades down in order to facilitate chest coming forwards, through and up. So your chest is coming through your shoulders are coming back. And when you feel a gentle sort of loading of your lower back, not pinching, that's where you stop. Take some breaths. Breathing through your nose this time. Keep that tongue at the roof of your mouth, the jaw closed. Five breaths, slowly lowering back down. Coming into flexion now, so bring yourself up into tabletop position. Bringing your head down, thinking about vertebrae by vertebrae movement once again. As you come into the mid-back, push yourself away from the floor, bringing your shoulder blades over your mid-back, inducing flexion in your thoracic spine, clenching the inside of your thighs slightly, keeping tension in your buttocks as well to tilt. Breathing 5 times. Come back into child's pose, reaching forwards with your arms. Try to induce a little stretch in the sides of your body by reaching forwards and wobbling yourself backwards, trying to sink your hips back towards your heels. Feel free to separate your knees if you like. Find comfort within this position. Wiggle into it. Next, when you're in this position, walk your hands over to one side, away from your hips. I don't want to see anybody's hips following their hands. The hips should stay exactly where they are, and it is the upper body that is moving away from the lower body. When you start to feel a stretch along your side, start to breathe. 3 breaths for each side. Try to relax the muscles on the out breath. How does it feel if you push your hips away from your upper body? And again, walking back to the center and off to the other side. Breathing 3 times. And is your head relaxed? Mine definitely wasn't. That's better. Come back to the center. Come back to a seated position. When you're in kneeling, check how you feel. You comfortable there? If not, adjust. Doesn't matter. Okay, now in a normal sitting position, we're going to get you to try and breathe into the different places in your lungs. And this is going to be the final exercise that we run through today. And this should hopefully start to feel like your rib cage is open, you're in touch with your breath a little bit more. So to do this, find a comfortable seated position. You can sit cross-legged or you can sit kneeling or any other place where you feel like you can be erect in your spine and relatively relaxed. Placing your hands over your lower rib cage, and I want you to start to breathe into your lower rib cage. So pushing your hands outwards with your in breath. It should look like this. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth for this one. We can do this 5 times, and it helps to apply a little bit of pressure inwards with your hands, so you've got some resistance to push against with your lower ribs, helping to increase the strength. Next, placing your hands over your xiphoid process, or the lower part of your sternum, where your ribs meet at the front, and one hand at the back. You're trying to expand your rib cage anteriorly and posteriorly, forwards and backwards. So, if it's hard to press inwards with your hand on the back, feel free to rest it. It's okay just to have some pressure on the front, but you should be aiming to expand your rib cage outwards. 5 times. Now, belly breath. One hand on the belly, one hand on the back, forcing the breath downwards 5 times. Feel free to let it come up into your chest afterwards, but it wants to initiate down here. All the way to your pelvis if you can. Does that feel any easier than earlier? Doesn't matter in through the mouth or nose, doesn't matter. Okay, last one. Breathing into the right lung, then the left lung. So in order to do this, it's good to place your hands again in this position, holding your lower ribs. If you want to tuck your hands underneath, that's absolutely fine. But you're trying to direct the air first into your left lung only. So it looks like this. You're aiming to feel the lung expand from the bottom up to the top. It's difficult. Do not expect yourself to be able to do this immediately, but the intention is enough. When you intend to do it and practice regularly, it will come. Five times. Try and feel the air ascend right to the neck. Feeling too lightheaded? Take a break. Next, the right lung. This is harder for me. My face always follows my lung when I'm trying to breathe. Yeah. Okay, final. Come back into resting on the ground to the original position we started in. Make yourself nice and comfortable. Check in on how you feel. And take a nice deep breath in, just to see whether it was any easier than when you started. So that's a full lung workout. You should feel more in touch with your rib cage, the relationship between your lungs and your ribs and your abdomen. You should be able to feel like you can take a deeper breath in now, and hopefully you've also gained control of your stress response by choosing to actively relax yourself using your breathing. If you repeat this on a daily basis, your respiratory function will certainly improve. And that's all I've got for you today.